Hey, I'm Lauren. I'm 23 and I recently moved into my self-converted van full-time to travel Ireland and hopefully beyond. I've spent 2 weeks living in my van so far and it's been amazing. I've explored so many beautiful corners of County Donegal, wandered along countless beaches and spent my day slowly exploring the little pockets of beauty I find along the way. I've slept beside mountains and driven some of the prettiest roads, on days when the weather doesn't feel like Ireland, and on plenty of days when it does. There's something about waking up somewhere new every morning that feels surreal. Making a cup of coffee with the doors open, hearing the rain on the roof, seeing mist roll across the hills. It's the kind of quiet I didn't know I was missing until now. I loved every bit of van life so far, but it came to an end. My van broke, fridge stopped working, the handbrake gave up, the plumbing started leaking, and the side door jammed completely. The odds felt stacked against me, so after only 2 weeks of my new life, I drove back home. It was the last thing I wanted to do, driving away from the life I'd just started, but part of van life I'm learning is learning to pause. To fix things, to figure them out, to keep going anyway. I ended up staying home for about a month, finishing my book and keeping my fingers crossed that the mechanics could work their magic. Once I finally got the van back, I managed to fix the fridge and the plumbing leaks myself. The side door still jammed, but I'll figure that one out eventually. And as frustrating as it's been, I think it's taught me something. That freedom doesn't mean everything goes smoothly, it just means you keep choosing it anyway. I didn't want to wait any longer, so I packed up my stuff, climbed back into my van, and I'm back on the road again. My goal since the beginning of van life has been to go back to Achill Island. I first went there 2 years ago, on one of those oddly sunny weeks at the start of September. Looking back, it feels like fate that my manager told me about it. She converted a van herself, and when she recommended Achill Island, I knew I had to go. It sounded beautiful, wild, remote, and the perfect place for my first trip in the van. Back then, the van was nowhere near finished. Wires were hanging everywhere, insulation was exposed, my kitchen was just a countertop balanced on wooden struts, and the bathroom didn't even have a door. Oh, and there was no electricity or plumbing. To some people that probably sounds like a punishment, driving 6 hours to a windy island, facing the full force of the Atlantic gales in autumn, with no electricity or running water. But I had the best time. I hadn't actually tested van life before I bought the van, which, looking back, was definitely a risk. But I always knew I would love it, and that trip really cemented it for me. Ever since then, for 2 years, Achill Island has been in the back of my mind. Been biding my time, working hard in my 9 to 5, saving, building, saving some more. Also, I could one day go back, for longer this time. Other than the home my parents live in, Achill is one of the places where I feel weirdly at home. I'm not even sure how to explain it, but as soon as I cross that bridge onto the island, I feel it. The peace, the quiet happiness that just settles in. So I can't wait to go back. And honestly, my entire route is planned around it. I have just under 2 months before I need to drive home for my brother's wedding. And I plan to spend a good chunk of that time in Achill Island. To start the journey, I'm heading to Newcastle, on the east coast of the north of Ireland. It's a place that's well known here for its beauty, but somehow I've never spent much time there. From there, I'll drive across the country, through counties Down, Monaghan, Cavan, Leitrim, Sligo, and finally into Mayo, where Achill Island is. I'm so excited to be back in my wee home, and to keep exploring more of Ireland. Okay, so today is my first day back in the van. It's really good to be back, but I've already broken the cabinet door. Let me show you. Like, how have I done that? How the fuck have I done that? And then there's also the plumbing. There's still leaks somewhere. I thought I got them all, but it seems I did not. There was a few that I fixed, but it's still leaking, so it seems like there are definitely more. So I'll take the cabinet apart tomorrow and try and fix it, because I refuse to go back home again. Also, dropped 2.5k to get this got fixed. Yeah, what a painful bank transfer that was. Yeah, but at least now the van's fixed. And it better not have any more issues, for fuck's sakes. Ooh, got a fancy new key. It's over there, and I can't be bothered going to get it. But it's real fancy, real nice. Basically 2 summers. Oh, you're moving, sorry. Basically 2 summers ago, on my first van trip, and in my infinite wisdom on Achill Island, I got seawater like all up in the key, and it fried the motherboard in it, and I was locked out of my van for like 4 hours. Yeah, not ideal. So that was the day I realised the external locks on my van aren't the same as the ignition. I learned that the way. Eventually, I got back in with the help of a very kind woman and her lovely wee pup. But ever since, my van keys have been kind of fucked. They work enough to get into the van, but they don't work as well as they should. I wanted to get it properly fixed and get a proper new one. So when I was getting everything fixed, the proper Peugeot dealership mechanic people, I thought it's the most legit place to get the keys done. You know, if anyone's going to do it right, they'll do it right. They have all the Peugeot stuff. So I got them to do it when I was there. But the only downside to that is they use genuine parts, which I'm not too fussed on genuine or not, but because they use genuine parts, one key cost me 250 quid. I'll be guarding that wee fucker with my life, especially once I get to Achill Island. I would prefer not to have a repeat of 2 years ago. What else? Oh, I finished my book. I'll leave a link down below if you're interested. It's like all about how I went from 9 to 5 to van life, and hopefully motivation and how you can do the same and not die in the 9 to 5. Not for me. And it's not for a lot of people. That's kind of why I wrote it. The goal is to make it more reader focused and than me, even though it's kind of a memoir. So hopefully it's actually useful. Do you ever read it? And if you do, thank you. Oh yeah, also my fridge is working grand, so thank feck for that. And of course I've already stocked it up with a full big Lidl shop. I think it's after 12 AM now, so I'm gonna go to sleep. Thank you for watching my silly wee videos where everything seems to go wrong. Good night.